Yes, they are pet friendly. Please be responsible so they remain pet friendly for all of us.
So we're inside the Fort Hays State Historic Site. It's pet friendly, which is awesome, and it's very reasonable. It's $6 for adults, and for military and seniors, it's $5, and then kids, 5 to 17 is only $30. So a lot of cool historic information here, and so we're just gonna walk through here and read some of the stuff. So what else in here right now, and then we'll walk over and we'll do some things. That is Chief Black Kettle. Lily's very interested in what's going on with the cool artifacts. So I guess these guys were in the 7th Cavalry with Custer. I'm gonna assume that that's Custer right there. Before his ill-fated battle. So this poster shows exactly how resourceful the native peoples were. They used every part of the buffalo or I guess they're actually bison, but they used every part. They used the hooves to store things or make rattles for children. They used the dried dung, to fuel fires. They made rattles for dancing. They made dream catchers, knives. I mean, every part of it was used. And then there's some of the things they did. And then, of course, they ate the meat.
Well, you think that looks okay? Yeah, that looks nice. Now you just gotta go put it up. There you go. Yep. I thought if the picture was...
This is Chief Black Kettle, and he chose peace and chose to relocate his people instead of trying to fight the U.S. government. But he ended up dying anyway in the Battle of the Washita River, which basically ended the Indian War battles in Kansas. And there was so much conflict because the people were after the same things. They needed the resources, they needed the water, they needed the buffalo, and both the settlers and the native peoples needed these resources, and so there was all competition. This is a cool little thing. So it's this big screen, and you can push whatever you want to see down here, and it brings up the building and tells you about what's there. So I'm pushing the Post Trader Store, and it gives me a whole little summary of where it was, and it shows up on the map and then it shows me what they did there. And it's got all these places. It's very interesting. I'm gonna look for the bakehouse, of course, because, you know, I love food. So I almost didn't even look at this, but the Laundress Row, married women, well, women who were married to an enlisted person, were able to live with them on post if she did laundry for her husband's company and if the company had an opening. But she could double her family's earning income, $15 to $25 a month. That would have been a lot of money back then.
If the Indians would attack the fort, they'd go in there. It did not have those windows in it. It just had some little holes in the walls, the rifle slots.
So they could shoot,
They
yeah.
could shoot out.
Yeah.
In the first year, though, that they were here, they were so sure the Indians would not try and attack the fort. They had not been attacking the other forts out west. So they decided they wanted to use it as their headquarters instead of a defensive structure. So that's what they ended up doing, was turned it into that, and they filled in the rifle slots and put the windows in it when they decided to do that. And they were right, the Indians never came up here to attack the fort.
Oh, that's good.
And then the other building that you'll be able to get into is the guardhouse. And the guardhouse was used mainly as a jail for the soldiers that got into trouble.
That never happens nowadays.
Right. Nope. So it's supposed to be the size of 2 football fields.
Oh, wow.
And that is how big most of the forts out west were. Fort Hays was a lot bigger, more spread out than the normal, typical around the parade ground fort. Mainly because it was a supply depot here, and the Army would send the supplies to Hays on the railroad, and then the soldiers sent the supplies south by wagons like Fort Dodge, Fort Larned, and Fort Sarah.
Oh, wow, okay.
So they had over 1,000 mules up here, hundreds of wagons, in order to transport all this stuff to the other forts. This is one of the officers' homes. There were 10 of these altogether.
Oh.
6 were exactly the same, and this is one of the 6 that was the same. This is for 2 officers and their families.
I was gonna
So
say,
yeah.
the wife and children.
they were encouraging them, to bring their families out.
Okay.
So they would each get a parlor, and then each family got 1 bedroom upstairs, and then they shared the dining room and the kitchen.
Okay, so if they had kids,
They would
then
all
the
sleep
whole
in one
family would
room.
sleep in one
Yep,
room.
Yep.
That must have been fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they didn't have a lot of kids.
Probably, they say that these guys, a lot of them were younger, so their families maybe not that big yet. But,
Okay.
But I imagine there were times when there was, a good number of kids. There's enough kids in all to have school anyway.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So,
Oh, is this okay if I walk back here?
yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay.
Most of the officers had servants who would cook and clean for them.
Oh, wow.
Usually they would use soldiers, paid them 35 cents a day.
So they had other soldiers be their servants?
They did. They started out with single civilian women. They would have them come out here from the east, and they would get married. So,
Oh.
so they just got married too quickly.
Yeah, okay. I love old kitchens. This is one of the bedrooms. And then across the way is the other bedroom. And she said 2 officers and their families would share, so each bedroom housed 1 family, the whole family. They just don't think about those things.
Yep.
This is a bit fancier. Was this a
It
higher
is.
ranking officer?
Yeah, it's kind of set up as if maybe it were a higher ranking officer.
Because I mean, it's got a
The house has got a lot more furnishings in it.
yeah.
This house was brought back first in the 1960s, and so the Historical Society did a really fantastic job of furnishing it. The other house in 1987 is when it came back, and then about 10 years ago they furnished it, but they weren't near as generous with all the things.
Right,
to go
Or they
inside.
couldn't find enough people
Yeah,
to
apparently
donate.
now they think, maybe if things are, they're holding on to their stuff.
People
a
want,
little
yeah,
harder
want it
now.
for their own house. Yeah. Yeah, this is really neat. Oh, I love that cabinet.
Yeah, that's a nice one. That's a big one.
I love the pantries too.
Yep, they each family had their pantries they could keep separate.
Oh, really?
So that they could keep the food separate. You know, we assume they probably ate together most of the time, you know, but it probably just whatever the families, however the,
If they had special.
when they decided.
Right. Oh, and they use trundles. Nice wood stove too. Keep you warm on those cool winter nights. Yep, another trundle.
So we're walking out here. Got a that's neat. So we're pulling up on the guardhouse. Some of the soldiers actually carved their name into this limestone. I'm gonna look for Sergeant Thomas Kitty. Was a marksman and participated in military shooting. Let's see if we can find it. See, you can see all the names. I don't know if you can see them or not. You can see them carved in there. Huh, that's so interesting. And there's a feller. Let's go inside. I have a feeling there's so many names I'm not going to be able to find Mr. Kinney's. There we go. Sorry, I'm holding a dog and trying to film. Okay. So this is where soldiers who got in trouble were kept. So there's a, that's nice. Oh my goodness. This is Private George R.
Private Sumner, George. Well, he and I have been drinking in Hays City. We found another soldier passed out on the streets. George wanted me to roll him, take his money, but I didn't want to. We kept arguing all night. I finally had enough and told George I'd drop after him any time. When I was arrested, I told him that George fired first and killed Peter Welch. Peter wasn't even part of the fight. He just got in the way. I pulled my gun on George and shot back in defense. Both are dead, and now they're hanging these charges on me.
Oh my goodness.
Private Sumner, George. Well, he and I have been drinking in Hays City. We found another soldier
Here's some interesting medical kit.
take his money, but I didn't want to.
You did not want to get injured
I finally had
back then because
George. I dropped
medicine was not at its finest.
arrested. I told him that George fired first and killed
Oh, my hair's crazy.
Peter wasn't even part of the fight. He just got in the way. I pulled my gun on George and shot back in defense.
Okay, come on. Down here. Desertion and discipline.
My name is Patrick, and and I wanted to go play cards and have a beer in Hayes City, but my sergeant wouldn't give me a pass. So another trooper and me took off on our own. We had ourselves a big time that night, and the next, and ended up getting into a couple of fights.
Oops.
We knew we'd be in trouble.
Since I'm in the cavalry, sometimes I get orders for guard and escort duty along the railroad. A few days ago, we were in the field 10 miles east of the fort, protecting a railroad work camp. We were sent to chase down a group of about 500 Cheyennes and Arapahoes. Some of them surprised us near the Saline River, and we had to fall back. My friend, Sergeant William Crispy, was shot through the head and killed.
Ooh.
I heard that black regiments have fewer disciplinary problems, lower desertion rates, and higher reenlistment rates than white ones. But we get inferior equipment and the least desirable accommodations at the fort. We don't have too many troubles with the white soldiers, but going into town is a different story. The people in Haines City welcome our protection, but they don't want to do business with us or see us in town. It just doesn't seem right.
2 men, well, 4 men to a bunk, so 2 men on each level. That's kind of weak. Then this is the shop. This is kind of neat. And here's some of the This is little Custer up there on the top left. So this is where the bakehouse was. I don't know if you can tell on film. You can kind of see the outline of where the foundation was. It was first made of wood, and then of course, shockingly, burnt to the ground. So then the second one they built was made of stone. This is where all the food was baked. So this is the blockhouse that she was talking about that they would retreat to when it was first built. It didn't have windows. They would retreat to it in case of being attacked by the Native Americans. And it never happened, so they ended up just making it the administration building, basically. And they took out the rifle ports and put in windows and made it into a nice building. We're walking into the blockhouse. Oh my goodness. There's some fun things for kids and adults. Kip and I would totally do that if we were here. This looks really neat. Oh, look at that wood stove. And then look at that. So here's some of the rifles and carbines they used. Administrator's desk. And here's the map where the railroad went through, and it's got marked on it where there were raids and attacks and things. and some handguns. My husband would be really interested in seeing these. He would really like this old Colt, I think. But he likes Smith & Wesson too, probably. Yeah. So here you can hear about the rifle slots and the windows and all of that. Okay, so here we're talking about who was in command, the officers. Well, of course, we know General Custer, or the Colonel Custer, not General, and then Nelson Miles. But most importantly, here's some more officers: Captain Charles King and Colonel John E. Yard. Second Lieutenant Colonel Eugene Carr, Second Lieutenant Calvin Cowles. But here we go. Most importantly, you get a card when you come here. This is my guy. So let's hope my guy fares better than most of the people who I get when I tour the Titanic, which is, I usually end up dying. Let's see. We look in these folders. Okay. Oh, here's my guy. Miles Walter, I don't know how you say that, Keel. Born in Ireland. Command of I Troop. And he was killed with Custer at Little Bighorn. At least his horse lived. Oh well. I feel like in the crudes where they say, and he died. That seems to be my luck with these